Okay, well, hey neighbors, welcome to the shed shop. In this edition of Redneck Ingenuity, I'm very tired. It's 1:14 in the morning on Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday morning. I fell asleep for a couple of hours. I've only had about 2 hours of sleep in 4 days because of, those of you that don't know, Mark Grumpy, my uncle left me with no vehicle, stranded in the woods, and all of the bills to pay on my own, which I cannot afford. So yeah, but I have to work, no matter how tired I am. And so I want to show you this Redneck Ingenuity. I have done this before, and I have actually done similar, not this exact fix, but similar redneck fixes on the channel like this before. So basically, we've got this MS362 over here, okay, and this is a custom-made AV mount. The OEM ones are these foam ones, and they're terrible. It is a terrible design flaw, and these are like $15 or $20 a piece, and these are anywhere from $5 to $10 a piece. We needed one with a smaller hole at the bottom. Basically, the wall of the gas tank is very thin, and there's supposed to be a nub there, a plastic nub, okay, that has broken off of my customer saw. And so what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole, okay, and it's going to be slightly smaller than this bolt we're going to use as our new post, okay. I have put an 8mm nut on there to stop it, and then we're going to end up putting on 2 O-rings. The reason I'll do 2 is because the one against the plastic is for seal, and then the other one is to protect this one, okay. You see how tight that is? That one's going to go against the tank, and this one will just protect this tight O-ring from the metal. It is smooth metal, but it's just an extra precaution that I choose to take. And then for our drill bit, we are 2 sizes smaller than our actual bolt. Again, because then we can screw our bolt in, and then the threads will help, the threads in the plastic will help seal that. And we're going to put some plastic bond on there, and also up in here, because this is going to be a permanent unit. Technically, you can take it out. You'll be able to use the nut inside. We'll have another nut inside with two, actually, I need to back that down some. That's going to be in too far. I want to leave it out more. I forgot, I don't want to, yeah, it's hard to explain why I want to leave it out more. I just want my post longer, and I don't need extra bolt inside the tank, so I think that'll about do. I think our O-rings and our nut, yeah, we should have enough, and we should be able to catch plenty of threads. If not, we can always adjust it. Before we put our weld on there, we're just going to drill our hole, and we're going to test it, okay? So I'm going to start with a little bit of smaller bit, and I'm going to drill right through. I'm going to leave my AV mount in because there's no need to take it out, okay? See how thin that was? Okay, now I step up to a couple sizes bigger, but slightly smaller than my bolt. Okay, that's that part. Blow all that debris out. We don't want any debris in his tank either, so we want to make sure we keep that clean throughout the process, just to make extra sure. Now for the bolt inside, it is going to be a little bit difficult, and I already knew that it was going to be a challenge because it's quite a ways back there, okay. But we're just going to take some long pliers to try and hold our 8mm on the inside, and we'll use this little inspection light here to see inside our tank. So let me just locate my hole here. I think my fuel filter is actually sitting right on it. I might have to go ahead and take the fuel filter out of the way. Get something out of the way. I think I should pull his fuel line and test it because it feels a little soft. Actually, it's okay. Okay, I think that will keep that out of our way for now. Let's see if we can find our hole. Okay, I see our hole. I don't know how to show you guys that hole, honestly. I'm not even going to try because that requires me taking it out of the mount. I'm sorry, but there is a hole in there, obviously. You saw me drill it. Okay, and then I have a second nut here, and again, my, uh-oh, where'd my little homemade post part go? Did you guys see where the bolt went? There it is. Okay, and so again, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get all this stuff in, or on, but we're going to do it. So this should, again, screw in. It's not going to be just falling in there. We're going to slowly screw it in. There we go. Okay, and I'm watching. We're going to end up putting Loctite on that 8mm as well, to keep it in place, because right now I need the bolt to go down further, but my my nut is spinning. I guess that will work. I like it. Okay, now for the other side. I just want to see how much bolt's in there. Oh, it's going to be close. I think we can only do one O-ring. No, I can sink it more, because that plastic post only came up about halfway. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I like that a lot better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back that out, and I'm going to go ahead and start making everything into a permanent state. Okay. Uh-oh, my O-rings didn't come out. There we go. Yeah, I like that, I like how snug it was, okay? It felt very snug. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all the way back up and put some red Loctite on there, okay? And then we'll back it back down. Sorry guys, didn't mean to hit you there. Uh-oh, got my wrench stuck. Thought I left enough space to get it out. Okay, again, red Loctite, because this is a permanent fixture. We don't want to ever have to take this out if we can help it. Okay, so there's that. Put an 8mm wrench again. We'll back that down over that Loctite. That should be good. Okay. Now, go ahead and put these O-rings back on. Let's see. Thought I had two small black ones. Wait a minute here. Yeah, this one's going to go on the outside actually, because it's got the rubber A-beam mount as well. Let me think here. No, that's why this green one's smaller. I got it now. Okay. It's not as small as the black one, but it's smaller, so we're going to go this way. The larger black one, smaller green one. Okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up a little bit of this stuff. Okay, and you're asking, why am I doing that? You'll see in just a minute. It was a plastic post, not a bolt. Okay, and so once it starts vibrating around, then that rubber, if it's hitting all this metal right here, well, it could tear it to shreds eventually. But if it's plastic, we're going to be fine. So that's why we're going to go ahead and turn it into plastic. If I can get this open. There we go. Go ahead and cap this off for now. The last place we're going to use that is, yes, we're going to put it inside the tank, but we're not going to put gas in there until it's cured overnight. It's going to be to hold that last bolt on, okay? Some people are going to tell me not to do that, and the gas is going to eat it, not the way I'm going to do it. Because it's going to be cured, dried, and it's going to be between threads. It's going to be between male threads and female threads. Uh-oh, we only got one side coming out on our stuff here. Shit. That's my life, though. That is my life. Never changes. Keep trying. No, gotta keep persevering, neighbors. That's all we can do, okay? Just gotta keep pushing. So, pull that plunger back. There we go. Now we got both coming out again, so we know we got equal amounts there. It's one of the reasons I do this on a paper towel, because I like, you can just wipe all your stuff with your paper towel. You start with a clean surface, and I mean, you don't need it perfectly clean all the way through, but it's clean enough, and then helps you keep stuff clean. Okay, so we should have more than enough of that. I didn't want to use that much, but it wasn't coming out, so I had no choice. I'm trying to think of where else I need plastic bond right now. I know there's other places I need it, but I can't think because I'm so tired. We just want to mix this until it's a nice even color, perfectly even all the way through. You don't want any streaks or anything. You don't want to be able to see two colors here at all. The better it's mixed, the better it's going to last. Okay, so now I'm going to put my first coat on. This is going to go in coats, and it's going to take a while because they're going to have to dry. Okay, like I said, this is a permanent fixture. That's why I'm doing this. It's not intended to be taken apart. It's intended to be there forever. Okay. The only time this should ever have to be taken out is if he has to replace that AV mount again. And even then, by then, the AV mount would be worn enough, most likely, because even the rubbing against this plastic, it is going to wear out. And so then there would be a simple matter of leaving it in and working the new AV mount onto it if you don't get the one with the big old hole, which at that point you would. So this should never have to come out, actually. There's no reason it should have to come out unless it leaks, which we're doing all this so it doesn't leak. Now, as that sets and starts to get hard, this will get a lot thicker and it'll make our job easier. So for now, you guys are going to get paused and I'm going to let that set. This is the last thing we have to do to his saw, so I believe, anyways. So once this is done, we should be able to collect a paycheck on this and try and get our lights turned back on, because they got shut off today. Because again, Mark left, and I took all of my money at the beginning of the month, like I always do, and paid very high amounts on the bills that are due at the beginning of the month, and then Mark takes care of the middle of the month, and usually by the end of the month, I've made enough money out here on eBay to cover the end of the month bills. Mark owed me over $6,000, and he's been paying me back. He's paid me like $2,200 back, but he still owes me basically $4,000. And when that was coming in at $200 to $300 a week to pay bills, now again, I was taking care of all the bills, so a lot of that money was being used for the light bill and the house bill and the cell phone bills that we both had. And then a lot of it went to my credit card debt, because obviously some of it was his for his portion of the bills, and some of it was to pay me back. And then I get to use it for my bills or however I want. And I chose to put it all on my bills like I always do. So he didn't pay any bills and he hasn't sent any money. He quit his job and went up to Ohio, allegedly. But I don't know if he quit his job. We think he pretended to be a victim. He's got a warrant for his arrest. For assault and battery or some shit, which that's not my uncle at all, you know, typically, because he doesn't have any friends or go anywhere or do anything enough to get in an altercation. But when you call people's bullshit, they tend to get angry because they don't want to hear it. Most people, you have like three types of people, basically. You have those that are going to react when you call them on their bullshit. Are going to react in an aggressive, defensive way, but then they're gonna self-reflect and they're gonna come back and say, you know what, you might be right, and sorry for the way I responded. And then the other person should be okay with it, you know, even if they yelled and screamed and got mad, okay, because, you know, we take offense when somebody says something about our character that they're saying we're doing something wrong in our character. So anyways, I called him on his bullshit, and I do that with everybody, and so he didn't like that, and I've been calling him on his bullshit for 2.5 years, and Mark likes to assault you when you're walking away, such as hitting you in the back of the head with a frying pan, and pushing you when you're walking away after getting in his face, not touching him, but getting in his face when he screams at you and makes threats and whatnots. So yeah, so I don't know where he is, but yeah, I got to try and get the camper cleaned up and restored, and get Mark's room cleaned up and refurnished with new furniture to try and possibly rent it out, which is going to be hard out here to find a tenant. I'm in the woods. There's something, because right now the next thing to go is, honestly, you guys, going to be my lawnmower. If I can't pay that bill, and then the biggest bill is this one, but it would probably take 6 months of not paying before they would actually come and get this, and then that would be everything in it would go with the building. I would not be able to get all this stuff back, because with what they are required to let me do to get my stuff back, there's no way I would be able to retrieve everything. And I can't afford to put it in storage, and there's nowhere here to put it, so I would be fucked, basically. I'm going to try and plug you guys in. There we go. And then I'm going to pause you because I'm done with my story. My woe is me, my pity party, as some of the trolls will go in the comments and say that's what we're doing. We're not talking about life. We're not talking about our challenges as we continue to work off of a generator in the shop. And we're not whining and crying and pissing and moaning. We're just talking about life. We're just talking about what's going on. So if everything in your life is misery and struggle and stress, and just because you talk about it doesn't mean you're complaining. It doesn't mean you're bitching. It doesn't mean you're playing woe is me. It doesn't mean you're trying to throw a pity party. You're literally just saying what's going on in your life. It just so happens that it's not good shit most of the time. So trolls, have fun with that. Okay, here comes the most tedious part. I actually do have to mix some more. You have to sit here and spin this as it cures so that it doesn't run, even if you let it get really, really thick. I just have to sit here and keep spinning this each layer after the first layer so that it doesn't all run down. If I set it right here, we end up with a mess. I set it too long while I was squirting some more out. So just so you guys know, if you ever do something like this, it's tedious, and this will take me like an hour or more, but sometimes you got to help your neighbor out and save them money. I'm not going to charge him what it would cost me to spend an hour on a saw on a certain project. That would be ridiculous. So basically it's just putting good karma out there so we can have some good karma back someday, hopefully, and to make our neighbor feel appreciated. Redneck ingenuity, baby. Look, Ma, no hands. Gotta love zip ties. We're gonna let that go for about 15 or 20 minutes like that, you guys, while we do other things. Okay, hey neighbors, here we are at the end of the video, where we're gonna find out if this thing leaks or not. Now that I have the camera out of the mount, I'm going to try and show you the other side of our fix. Inside of the tank, I've just filled it with gas, and I'm about to put some fresh paper towels under the other side. We're going to go off and do some other things for a while, and then we're going to come back and see if our paper towel is wet. We're going to use a terry towel. It's blue because it doesn't evaporate as quick. I don't know, even with you guys out of the mount, the only way I'm going to be able to show you that bolt is with our borescope, I think. I can see it just barely, and you might be able to see it just barely as well, but just for sake of showing you, let's go ahead and get the borescope. Okay, here we are. Oh, I lost her. Where'd she go? There it is at the bottom of your screen. See it right there? Got the O-rings behind it, and I used red Loctite, and then we cleaned any excess Loctite out because we just don't want to take any chances. And I let it sit for 8 hours. I let the plastic weld on the other side, I'm going to show you, sit for about 18 hours. Okay, so that's that. And then what we have is this bolt you saw in earlier. and I had it on the drill, but the drill died and I didn't know, so some of it did go stronger to one side. However, it's an oblong thing like this, a teardrop type deal at the top of that plastic nub, and so that's why I didn't shave it off. I only shaved a little bit, and these are usually foam, this is rubber, and so I think that'll give him some extra protection for his hands from the vibration. These are pretty good AV systems with the springs and the rubbers together, but you still get vibration. So that's it. Until next time, neighbors, once more, be kind to one another. Everyone's facing a battle. I love all 8 billion of you neighbors, even though I suck at it.